Good afternoon, I'm Jacinta with 2NURFM Hunter News. Two men are on the run after a hold-up at Head and Greeter service station last night. The pair threatened the male attendant at the Metro outlet with a handgun and metal bar before running off with a small amount of cash. Both are in their late teens and had coverings over their faces. Police say the worker was not injured during the robbery. Potential for a Newcastle container terminal is being addressed in Parliament today by Newcastle member Tim Crackenthorpe. The New South Wales government is currently capping container movements through Newcastle and has rebuffed parliamentary attempts to obtain more detail. Mr Crackenthorpe says that a cap on containers in Newcastle is anti-competitive.
They've actually put a cap on the number of containers that can come in and out of Newcastle Port, which effectively makes it uneconomic for anyone to put a container terminal at Newcastle, which is restrictive behaviour. And I've written to the ACCC and asked them to investigate this issue. This government is going to hold back the city of Newcastle because they want to fatten up the goose for Port Botany in Sydney.
Members of the Health Services Union are rallying outside John Hunter Hospital today to protest job cuts to allied health positions. HSU Secretary Jared Hayes says the state government has axed 7 specialist allied health director roles and is weakening health services across the region. Mr Hayes says this is bad news for the Hunter community.
To take out the positions that will have a strategic value going forward and harmonise them into one, it just makes no sense. But it shows that the government has not listened to the Darling report. Instead of investing in allied health professionals, they're removing them from the system.
Fire and Rescue New South Wales will be carrying out controlled burns at Morisset today and tomorrow if conditions are favourable. Residents in the area are advised to take precautions such as keeping all doors and windows closed and removing washing from clotheslines. Lake Macquarie Zone Commander Superintendent Dirk Speck says the hazard reductions are in preparation for bushfire season.
We've got crews from Fire Rescue New South Wales and New South Wales Rural Fire Service are going to carry out a 7.5 hectare hazard reduction burn off Campview Road near Fishery Point Road at Morisset, and there'll be also a smaller burn in the same area tomorrow at 3 hectare.
Lake Macquarie authorities have committed to clean up a 100-metre stretch of black slag uncovered by the collapse of a foreshore retaining wall. Residents of Lake Macquarie believe the decision is a significant step forward in their 100-year battle against pollution. A spokesperson for the Environment Protection Authority says removing potentially toxic slag material from public accessibility is the most appropriate response.
Sport for our sponsor, Warners Bay Sports Club, Fishing Expo, September 13.
The Newcastle Knights may see a few changes in the side ahead of their game against the Tigers on Saturday night. Interim coach Danny Badiris will look to move skipper Kurt Gidley to 5/8, with young gun Jake Mamo to step in the fullback position. Badiris says Gidley understands he's needed in the number 6 jersey to counter the threat of Tigers' weapon, James Tedesco.
Kurt's, that's what he stands for. He's all about the team. And he said, mate, if that's best for the team, that's what I want to do. And I think that's the most effective he is for the team at fullback as well. But at the moment, he's just put his hand up and said, that's the job I've got to do and support that right edge.
The Newcastle Rugby League could be in for a shake-up next season after the first meeting with clubs to discuss next year's draw earlier this week. A Super Saturday top 4, bottom 4 format and pre-season 9s tournament were all radical proposals made at the meeting where it was unanimously decided this season's start-stop 14-round season was a failure. Real NRL Chief Executive Matt Harris says the board will make a decision on a new format by the end of the month. And in rugby union, Wanderers second rower Dan Kevill will sit out the next 12 games after being found guilty of an eye gouge by the Newcastle Rugby Union judiciary last night. That's sport. I'm Kyle Miners.
2NURFM News Time is coming up to 12:10.